Welcome, fellow Phoenixes, to the Spiritual Phoenix Podcast, where we make a daily offering to the divine by putting our past on the pyre, searching the smoke for spirituality, turning the ashes into art, adapting isolation into connection, and manifesting mental wellness. I'm a spiritual phoenix named Ross Cessna, and I wish to ignite the authentic expression of your soul into any avenue that elevates consciousness. I don't want to tell you what to think, but to get you to think, create your own understanding, and authentically express yourself in a way that is uplifting. We are the artists of our lives, and today is a blank canvas. Let's collectively create a better tomorrow. And I'd like to take a moment and focus on what we're grateful for. Today, I'm grateful that my progress has led me to a point where I'm able to handle situations better. Yesterday, I had a instance that would normally made me flip out and kept me pretty upset, and I would have held on to it. I worked through it, and that may not seem like a big accomplishment to some people, but it's a huge one for me. It's one of those things that had really held me back a large portion of my life, and it was one of my biggest barriers to happiness in many ways. And sitting there with it and working through it actually helped me identify the deeper root cause and see how that fractaled out into many of my relationships in my life. And with that, I'd like to get into a couple of quotes today. The eyes of vision are closed but to the pupils of the seer. And that was said by me. These are the days of miracle and wonder. That was said by Paul Simon. Not a big Paul Simon fan, but I like the quote. It creates community when you talk about private things, and you can find other people that have the same things. And that was said by Carrie Fisher. I wrote a mantra based upon the tarot card reading that I did for was a tarot card reading based on days of the week this upcoming week. And this weekly mantra is based off of it. It's kind of like a mantra poem or whatever. And it's called Scripture of the Secret Sun. The sun is shining upon me, that which has me bound and blinded. A second sun shall clear. Insight is gained through patience. From here the seeds of creation sprout. Taking root to build a foundation will blossom into abundance inside and out. Decisions made with precision manifest adventurous work whose rewards will be bountiful, so let's plant them in the dirt. Nurtured even through dark times, as two lucky lights twinkle in the abyss, a secret that is hidden also shines over all of this. So let's manifest the most in every thought and word. We'll put them into action to illuminate the herd. The mind is the temple, a word of double means, to eyes to see the illusion, the third eye for the unseen. I am loved, I am supported, I am strong, I am brave, I am love, I am light, I am wisdom, I am harmony. And if you like that and you'd like to actually use it as a mantra, I'll put it in a link below with everything else. And today's topic is the Meru, the Youru, and also the Weeru. This topic came about from somebody who's really helped me along on my path without ever having met me. That would be Brandon Beecham from the Positive Head podcast. If you haven't listened to that yet, I suggest that you do. It's one of the tools in my mental wellness kit. He has a lot of insight that he's able to share. And somebody had called him a guru, and I jokingly told him that if other people see you that way, you are. And he did an episode, I don't know if it was that day or the day after, it doesn't really matter when, but he recently did an episode about how you can only see yourself as you are, and you don't need to take other people's concepts of you, good or bad. And I can actually relate to him not identifying with wanting to be labeled as a guru. There's inherent pressure with that. The other thing, and I'm not speaking for him, I'm speaking for me. The other thing for me would be I have a tendency to be grandiose and pompous, and being viewed in such a light could potentially be detrimental for me. There's been times where people said, people in my personal life said that I seemed like a Buddhist monk or a yogi or things like that, and it's like, I'm really not. And if, I mean, maybe I am too good at concealing my turmoil, or maybe I'm good at wrestling it within my head. But I go through stuff. I mean, sometimes that persona of whatever just goes to people's head, and I've said before that persona is based upon a Greek word. It's one of the it means a character, character in a play. So it's your outward projection you show people. I try to show both. I try to show it all. I mean, granted, sometimes I'm less successful at it than others, but I am better at it. I'm working on being authentic, and I feel that I'm doing a better job about that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get back into the free form train of thought, is it allows me to express myself more authentically. When I write stuff down, I'm able to convey my message as I want to, but how much of that is ego and conveying the words that I want to in a way to where they're completely scripted, it peels away authenticity, and it makes it easier for me to plaster out a persona of who I am. I think that the concept of gurus or enlightened people or any of that being perfect or being sound in everything is somewhat flawed. I mean, I would say that, and this is from my personal experience, maybe as I continue to involve, but when I say involve, it's saying involution. When I continue to evolve internally, let me phrase it that way, maybe I'll reach a place where nothing affects me and I can always be the reed that bends and not breaks. But I think that anger does serve a purpose, and I think that it might be that you can't necessarily suppress it, and that it manifests in other ways. I mean, maybe there is a state where you're okay with everything, you're not suppressing anything, people can do whatever, and you can respond without getting bent out of shape and without overinflating yourself and feeling better than. I guess for me, I'm just not there yet, and I don't know that I ever would want to be there. And now for the concept of the Meru, the Youru, and the Youru. I'm not a teacher or a guru. I don't think anybody perceives me that way either, so that's a good thing. I'm a Meru, and when I say that, I mean I'm my own guru. When you have outside spiritual teachers, or not spiritual teachers, people that you look up to, the definition even implies initiation into something. I think that it's obviously good to listen to people who you respect and whose opinion you value. There's also inherent danger in that in some ways, and I don't mean physical danger, obviously, but the danger is that then you begin to idolize these people and put them on a pedestal, and it, by proxy, devalues you. We're all on equal footing as people. Some people might have deeper understanding about certain aspects of things, but then you have deeper understanding of other aspects of things. I'm the best Meru I know. Um, and I mean, for me, you're the best Meru, you're the best Youru from my perspective, but from your perspective, you should be the best Meru for you. And what I mean by that is, you can take some of the things I say if you like them, or some of the things that you don't like that I say, and then figure out the opposing thing that makes sense to you, or take other things that people say and make sense to you and incorporate it into your personality and into your thought pattern. But when you do that, you're assimilating it with a whole bunch of other knowledge. It's the equivalent of taking a line from a book and then putting it in a whole different story, and then trying to say that, you know what I mean? Like, it's similar to that. You can't copy and paste everything that I say and then put it into your story, because your story has all other sorts of nuances that would counteract some of my teachings, because it's from my perspective. So you have to take what I do and put it in your own words, frame it in your own way for your own story. And if you're doing that, I'm not teaching you anything. You're teaching yourself to learn from other people's experiences. And that's an empowering thing. You'll learn things from people, from the things that people do that are you agree with, and you'll learn things from people for the things that you disagree with. Sometimes you'll learn things from people that you don't even have an opinion on what they're talking about. There's power in that. And when you can become the Youru, then you have the ability to not teach people your wisdom, but to teach people, I guess not even teach people, lead by example on how to authentically be themselves and learn from themselves. And you initiate yourself into your own circle of understanding. You initiate yourself into your own spirituality. That's the thing too. I can't teach you my spirituality because it's mine. There might be similar threads in my spirituality with other people's, but it's an abundance of lived experience. If people start to take my spirituality as their own, it stops becoming spirituality and it becomes a religion. And I'm I'm not a guru, a teacher, a sage, any of those things. I'm Ross Cessna. I like who I am, don't get me wrong. There's a quote by Hunter S. Thompson in regards to somebody asking him for advice, and he said, that's the equivalent of the blind leading the blind. Like, don't let me fool you if you think that I know what I'm doing. I make mistakes every day. I'm in a process of growing. That's part of the spiritual phoenix thing. Every day I burn yesterday when I do these episodes, and every night when I go to sleep, I burn and I rise up a new person and combust who I was. It's a constant state of rising from the ashes of yesterday. And that has many different layers to it. Now, as far as the Youru would be the concept of a collective of me-roos and you-roos doing what we do. I just had to say that to be kind of a dork. I know that was a easy laugh for me. So, but when we're doing what we do, being ourselves as authentically as possible, expressing ourselves in positive ways, overcoming obstacles, creating different things, manifesting the realities that we want instead of acquiescing to who we think other people think we should be, we begin to liberate ourselves and to live to our highest realm of who we can be. And to me, that's my ultimate purpose, is to be the best me I can be, to listen to my connection to my source energy, to be as creative as possible, because creativity helps me. And I mean creativity through my art, through my music, through my writing, and through recreating myself. I'm sculpting the art of my life and painting my reality onto the canvas of this matrix that is the world. And when there's a collective of people doing that, especially if we can organize and do it collectively as a group of people, showing other people to do that, then we can really affect some change. And I want to get off the pulpit. I'm going to share another poem that I wrote this morning. It's called The Eyes of Vision. The eyes of vision are closed, but to the pupils of the seer. When the eyes of the material are able to reject reality as a hallucination, the third eye will open. In this state, the eye searches in a limitless instant through infinite cosmos, dimensions, and fractals, connected to the continuum that was, is, and will be. The wisdom of the eye awakens, only to find itself suspended upside down from a branch of the material world, with the eyes of eons opening into the infinitude of the mysteries. Tomorrow we're gonna have a special guest on. It's going to be Nixie Marie. I've come in contact with her through listening to the Positive Head podcast. She's going to be doing her own podcast soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Nixie, if you see this, I'm so grateful that we get to chat tomorrow. It's going to be fun. I've prepared some fun questions, so it's not all depth and digging. And I want to explain why I say put it on the pyre. When I say put it on the pyre, a pyre is a funeral fire for those that don't know. So when this is over, I put it on the pyre. This is to say, okay, it's done. It's good as it is. I'm over it. And there's going to be links down below, rather than going to this whole long diatribe and explaining all this crap at the end. The links are in the description below. And with that, love and light, namaste.